Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. There are a lot of difficult issues that are happening right now in the world, and I know that I just recently started this channel and I've been going through a thought process of, well, do I keep it light? Do I keep it fun? What do I really need to talk about? Do I really need to talk about current events or news or things of serious nature? And when I first started this channel, I didn't start it with the intent to be serious or political in any way, but the connection that I made is that, for me at least, turning 40 and just growing as a person, with each year that you gain more perspective on the world, you're educated through your experiences. And for me, I really found a voice, so to speak. I had kind of taught myself to be quiet, probably beginning after high school. I learned from others around me that if I were pleasing to a certain degree, that things would be easier. It would be easier if I kept my opinion to myself in a way. I mean, I would still voice my opinion, but it would be kind of in a in a way to balance any tension or anything like that. I always admired people, and women especially, who spoke their mind, who just they had a thought, they had a feeling, they would say it and they would share it, and I was like, wow, that is powerful. I admired that, but at the same time, especially as a woman of color, I wanted to present an image that was non-threatening, an image that was not going to intimidate or offend other people. I would approach with a smile, I would laugh. I felt like it was my job to make people feel comfortable being around me. In addition to being a woman of color, I'm taller than the average person, so I feel like my presence had a dominance about it, which tended to make people have assumptions about me and about my demeanor. So I made sure that I softened myself enough to make other people comfortable. This is something that I feel like was perpetuated by entering my career and being in situations where I was looking to further my career. I thought that being nice and being agreeable was the way to go. And it seemed to work just fine. Everyone loves me, I'm everybody's favorite person, and it wasn't until I got older and I felt this compelling, urge to voice my opinions about things that mattered and things that I just couldn't keep quiet about. And don't get me wrong, just because I wanted to, you know, keep everyone happy, it didn't mean that I would stand for something that was wrong ever. I would speak up if I were in a situation like that. But recently, with the events that are happening in the world today, or I should say that are coming to light in the world today because they've been happening for a very long time, I have found that I've been everybody's favorite black girl until I open my mouth on these matters. It is then that I find people begin to make excuses for why black and brown people are treated differently, or why black and brown people are having the experiences that they are, instead of admitting the hard truth that it is happening simply because of the color of our skin and the conditions that have been set into place to keep black and brown people down. People want to point the finger. Here you have a people asking for help, and instead of the rest of the world extending an open hand, people are pointing the finger. I can't understand that. And I can't not use this platform, no matter how small it may be, my 26 subscribers and whoever else hears this message. I am not going to be silent. I won't be silent anymore. And part of my journey has been finding my voice again. I'm a grown woman now. I'm not here to please anyone, and if people feel uncomfortable when the truth is spoken, then that's their problem and it's not mine. Unfortunately, what I am realizing is that it doesn't matter for some people or to some people how much evidence you have, how your experiences have shaped you. Sharing personal accounts. I mean, right now we have proof now, which we didn't have before. We have proof. We have been complaining about the same issues for hundreds of years. It's fallen on deaf ears. Now we have the proof. Now people are starting to open their eyes, thank God. But you're still going to have people who are content to remain like this and content to do this. I was fortunate enough to not really understand or be on the receiving end of racism until after I graduated high school. I am a light brown, I'm a mixed black woman, and fortunately enough, I was able to get to a point where I was old enough to understand what was happening to me when it did. I have experienced racism. I have experienced unfair treatment from police officers. I have experienced being called the N-word. I don't even want to say it. I received hate mail. My husband and I were attacked, basically, not physically, but people tried to tear us apart. Why? Because of this. That's it. People that didn't even know me. There have been terrible things that have happened to all peoples throughout history. But the key difference here is that we are seeing the exact same things happen to the exact same race of people, and it has been ongoing since the very beginning. It has not ended. And no matter how many times Black people have found a way to rise against the adversity, they have been knocked back down. You can't say that about any other race in America. And the effects of racism against dark-skinned people is evident throughout the world, not just America. So to say, as an argument, that, well, all other people have experienced some sort of racism or some sort of oppression in some sense, you need to ask yourself, is it still happening to that group of people? Is it still happening to that group of people in America today in 2020? The answer is likely no. There are so many stories. I honestly feel like I can say that every single person of color has experienced racism in one form or another. And I'm sad to say that there are children that experience it, that didn't get to have their innocence preserved as they grew to an age where they would be old enough to understand and old enough to process what was happening to them and why. And if you cannot see what's happening and think about how this plan has been put into place and so well executed, if your eyes are closed and your finger is pointed, if your heart is not open and your mind is not open to admitting that there is a problem and doing everything you can do to be part of the solution, then I'm sorry for you. And there may come a day where you are going to be asking for help. And you will expect to have a hand reached out to you to offer that help. And instead, you may be met instead with closed eyes and a pointed finger. If you're a mother, if you're a father, the only thing you want for your children is the best. You would do anything for them. As a parent, I take it upon myself to look out for other children in the same capacity that I watch my own. How can we let this happen to any child? These kids are going to grow up and have experiences that some kids will never have to think about. Make sure that you use your voice. Make sure that you are unafraid. It's our right. It's everyone's right as a human being to have the same rights. It's unfortunate that that isn't happening, but I'm going to use my voice to make sure that it does. Stay lovely and stay vocal. It is so important that we stick together and unite for each other, not just now, but in all instances of injustice.